All right. It is Troy J. Robertson back with FabFitFun, and we are going to be discussing The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Episode 3, when the ladies take the drama to the Bahamas. As always, make sure that you are liking, sharing, and subscribing to FabFitFun for future content. Here we go. It's episode 3. Let's get into it, shall we? The ladies are in their private jet to the Bahamas. They're getting to the resort. It's a stunning resort. Like, it's stupid. We then get to Dorit and Lisa's room, and so Lisa does end up staying with Dorit, and Dorit asks Lisa point blank period. She says, "Are you happy to be friends with me?" Lisa then says, "Right now I'm happy to be friends with you because I'm reaping all of the benefits, but I don't know what the future holds." And it's just this like awkward conversation. We cut to Dorit in an interview, and Dorit just thinks that LVP is like hanging on to things. She thought that they moved on from this dog thing, but she thinks she might be harboring some resentment. We then get to the other ladies' room, and Denise and Rinna are hanging out. Denise goes to Rinna, "Is dinner casual?" I'm just gonna paraphrase what Lisa Rinna said. No. Like, Denise, have you watched the show? Do you know what the tea is? Nothing is casual about any of the housewives' dinners, especially Beverly Hills. We go back to Lisa and Dorit's room. It seems as though like Dorit is really trying to be there for Lisa. She's wanting Lisa to open up to her. She is wanting just their friendship, naturally, as a friend wants. LVP is not studying it. Like, she is not subscribing. We come back, Erika Jayne is getting in full glam mode. Like, she is getting dressed to the nines. She's got 70 inches of platinum stunning blonde hair being put into her head. Dorit is getting ready with her glam squad as well. Lisa Vanderpump walks into the room, and we all know right now that Dorit has this perm going on, and Lisa goes to her, "You look a little bit like Snooki." Snooki, I think, is one of Lisa's dog's names. Like, she literally said, like, "You look like one of my dogs." All the ladies walk into Denise and LVP's suite, and they're all hanging outside on the balcony, and everyone looks stunning. Rinna comes in this gorgeous cheetah floor-length, like, silky, flowy dress. Like, everyone is banging. Denise Richards is the latest of the group, and she's like knocking at the door, and then all of a sudden the door opens. Everyone's got dresses on. We all know it. Denise walks in, and she is in a gorgeous outfit, but she's in like white short hot pants, and everyone just gives her this look. There were some gasps, I think. Then it cuts to Denise in an interview, and she goes, "I packed the wrong ship. What can I say? I learned that quickly." Lisa Rinna then walks over to the girls talking by the balcony. They're talking about how Lisa is wanting the butler Elvis to bring his cat. And then they're saying like, well, maybe the cat is what's causing Dorit's allergic reaction, because Dorit like broke out in hives. Like, there was something that gave her an allergic reaction. She was breaking out in hives. And they go, well, maybe she's allergic to cats. And then Kyle goes, well, maybe she's allergic to dogs. And then Rinna's like, what did I miss? Because then Kyle said that, Lisa got quiet, Kyle shut down, and Lisa's like, what did I miss? She has no idea what's going on. Lisa goes, I don't want to talk about it. And Lisa Rinna just goes, wow, you guys are really good at keeping secrets. It cuts to an interview with LVP, and it basically, she's like, I didn't want to bring it up. There's no winners in this. It's stirring up shit. It's stirring up dog shit, and I didn't want to bring it up. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to keep saying it out loud for more people to talk about. Rinna doesn't understand the secret. She's like, somebody fill me in. The balcony scene's over. Then we move to the next day. Teddy and Kyle are having breakfast. Rinna walks in, she sits down with Teddy and Kyle, and she's like, what was with last night? Like, what was with the awkwardness? Teddy and Kyle explain the entire story. Lisa diagnoses the situation from the very beginning, and we see the return of Rinna. We see the return of Rinna's past, because she was very, very calm. She was like still water last season. Then we see Rinna this season, and she is, you just see it lights a fire under her. So Rinna is expecting that Lisa was having her team perpetuate this story because it was keeping Lisa's hands clean. She feels like it was a setup. She feels like John telling Teddy, John being the employee of Vanderpump's dogs, she feels like John telling Teddy was a setup, and then Teddy bringing the dog out at Vanderpump's dogs was a setup, and that she's now using Teddy and Kyle as well to perpetuate this story because she feels as though Lisa wants to punish Dorit for the dog situation, but she doesn't want to do it herself. This is what Lisa has basically put out there. I will say, I think it is very, very ironic that on a day that they were filming that John did bring out a dog and say to the girls, do you recognize this dog? I think that he would have had to have known that they were filming that day. So all the ladies except for Denise and Lisa Vanderpump are headed to the beach. Denise and Lisa Vanderpump are instead going to go get massages. So all of the cast plus Camille are hanging out on the beach. They're all diving into the water. It's this great fun scene. And this is where we see them take the picture that practically broke the internet when it came out on Instagram of all of the ladies in these stunning bathing suits in this scenic pose on this gorgeous beach. The ladies then sit down for lunch and Rinna just starts in and she says, all right, I think that there are a few things that everyone needs to get off their chest. I would like to go around the horn and I want everyone to say one thing that they're frustrated with. It gets to, like, some people pass, some people talk about stuff, some people are like, I'm glad that we're moving on, I'm glad that we can get past these issues. Then it gets to Lisa Vanderpump and she basically just goes in on Erika Jayne, and I wasn't expecting this. I'm gonna be real with you, I was not expecting this. And she said, I feel like when my brother passed away, how you consoled and empathized with me was a little bit cold. And so Lisa felt as though the letter that Erika Jayne wrote was a little cold. She would have, I think, preferred a phone call or flowers sent to her. And so Erika Jayne basically is saying, I was uncomfortable with the situation. I didn't know how you would have wanted me to respond to you. It's a very sensitive topic, so I did what I was most comfortable with as much heart that I could give you, and I felt like giving you this really lovely handwritten letter was my best way to sympathize with you and for you. And I don't fault her for that. I think that everyone really deals with grief. Personally, when grief happens to you, people deal with it differently. And I think that when you try to help and console someone, everyone does that differently as well too. Okay, so during all of that drama, Lisa just was very upset by it. She started crying. Erika Jayne is not understanding why. Erika Jayne just doesn't feel like Lisa feels like the note was good enough for her. Like, she feels very criticized in the moment. We then cut to Lisa Rinna, and I don't think that she could have said it any better. I've never heard of anyone criticizing a sympathy note, but on the other hand, grief is a funny thing because it doesn't teach you how to react to something. Like, there's no rule book on how to act when you're under some sort of grief. And I have to agree with her. When something traumatic happens to you, you react to things differently than you would normally act. And so for Lisa to be upset by a sympathy note and it not being enough is potentially a reaction from her dealing with the grief of the loss of her brother. LVP is then just like, let's move on, let's not talk about it anymore. And then it cuts to her in an interview saying, this is something I've been thinking about, and this is the first big moment I've had with Erika Jayne. I had to get it off my chest, I had to say it. I now feel better. In the moment, at the lunch table, when all the ladies are talking, Erika Jayne's like, don't make me out to be the bad guy. I would have loved to connected with you privately on this. And basically that's her saying, I didn't appreciate you bringing this up in front of everyone. If this was something that really hurt you, I wish you would have set me aside and talked to me about that. Then the ladies are getting ready for their dinner looks. Denise is talking about how she sweats bullets every time she has to go out with these ladies, and I don't blame you. It is a hard act to follow sometimes with these ladies. Then Rinna goes into Erika Jayne's room when she's getting ready. Erika Jayne starts to discuss her thoughts on the entire thing, and she brings up her phone with a picture of the letter and said, listen, I don't know why she was upset by this. I wrote her this. My jaw fell to the floor. When I tell you I couldn't believe that she had receipt of this, and then it goes to her saying, listen, everyone knows that you need some evidence when you're dealing with a slippery person. And she pulls this photo out and Rinna just goes, you come with the f***ing receipts. The ladies are all at dinner and then some of the ladies like Dorit and Rinna get up from the table. As soon as that happens, the dog situation is talked about again. We're seeing where this is going. The remaining girls at the table are talking about how they don't like that it keeps coming up. They don't want to keep talking about it. They don't know why they're talking about it. Like, why is this an issue? Then all of the other ladies start to walk back in and they start to sit down at the table. And then boom, there we have it. Dorit sits down at the table and Teddy, who looks stunning, I loved her hair in this scene, she goes, I feel like I wasn't being honest with you at the lunch earlier today when we were going around and telling people like if we had an issue or anything like that. I don't feel like I was being honest with you because I know about this dog thing and it was brought to me And I wish I would have said that to you earlier, and I want to say that to you now. And Dorit automatically goes, I don't want to have an issue with you. Like, I don't want to have a problem with us. Like, we're doing good. Teddy's like, everyone is talking about this dog thing. Lisa Vanderpump's team told me they brought your dog out to Kyle and I when we were at Vanderpump's Dogs a few weeks ago. We get to Teddy then talking about how she feels like this is a pattern with Lisa Vanderpump. Make your friends look bad, but have your hands clean when you do it. Rinna is dead set that this is a complete and utter setup. LVP does not know why everyone keeps coming at her. She feels as though she, if anything, defended Dorit, and she tried her best not to bring it up, and she feels as though she didn't bring it up. But again, members of her team did bring it up. So it's very murky. Denise is casually eating. She goes to Camille, I'm lost. She has no idea. That was probably my favorite part of all the drama, to be honest with you, like Denise's lack of knowledge of it. Lisa Vanderpump is claiming she wanted it shut down. Rinna is saying he's your employee, therefore he is a vocal piece of your brand, of you. It feels like a setup. You set it up. You set the entire thing up, and you set the girls up as well, meaning Kyle and Teddy. Some people might feel as though it's a punishment towards Dorit. Lisa says to Teddy, how did John tell you? John being her employee from Vanderpump's Dog. She said, how did John tell you? And Teddy goes, it doesn't matter how he told me, it matters how he told us, meaning her and Kyle. So when he brought the dog out, as soon as the cameras were there, filming that scene at Vanderpump's Dogs and how that came to their attention, Teddy has a relationship with John outside of that. And I think that if that wouldn't have happened that day at Vanderpump's Dogs, this wouldn't be the motif moving through the season. If Teddy would have just known about this via outside of filming and only talking with John on a one-on-one friendship level. Teddy bites back at Lisa, and this is very, very sad to see. Not sad to see because Teddy is sticking up for herself, but it's just when they have grown really, really close, and I don't want to see any rift come in their friendship, but she does kind of yell at Lisa a little bit, and then Teddy gets up from the table. She says, good night, I'm done. Dorit, I'm sorry, baby. I felt like it was Teddy saying, I'm sorry that this happened. I'm sorry that we've all talked about it, but I'm also sorry for what's about to happen, because I feel like Teddy was kind of seeing that, whoa, this is what's about to unfold this season now. Like, she saw it. And so she was saying sorry for future things as well. The show then ends with Lisa saying, if I would have known this is how this trip was gonna go, I would have rather stayed home and had a root canal. Episode 3 was wild. I hope that you all enjoyed it as much as I did. I think that there's going to only be more exciting moments left in the Bahamas. So please make sure you are staying tuned, you are subscribing, you are liking, you are sharing, you're telling your friends, and I will see you all back next week for episode 3 of FabFitFun's recap of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. This is Troy J. Robertson, over and out. Have a great week. See you next time.